All right. You got a mic?
Can you give me one second?
You got a mic?
New Horizons.
Oh, no, wait. We're going to wait. We're going to wait.
Thank you, thank you.
We're going to wait. You got time?
Thank you.
Bro, we won 100 and some games for nothing. See, look, bro, it's you gotta get hot at the right time. There's no doubt, no doubt. We're talking about baseball, y'all. We're talking about baseball.
You're on the opposite side of this, but I want to ask you because defensive players now say defenses understand roughing the passer, what they can get away with. You know what with wrestling. Can you just talk about? Do you know it when it is, or do you even kind of complex in terms of when they might call?
Nowadays, I wouldn't say I know every time. You know, I know what the rules say. You know, and you know if their weight lands on you, if they hit you in the head or neck area, if they hit you below the knee, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just a flag. Like, you know, it's like some of the, like on offense, some of the things that we don't like is like, you know, some of the screens that we'll throw on the perimeter. The rules committee came out and said you can't grab them until the ball's caught and all that kind of stuff. Well, I guess that's an advantage for the defense because Aaron Rodgers, you know, myself, we've used that play a lot, you know, in our career to get extra big plays, you know, because the way teams play. So some of the rules you're not always going to agree with, but their rules are their rules, you know. And so when I first got in the league, you know, I never thought I was going to get a roughing the passer call, just how it was called. And if I'm honest, I was more injured then, you know, hopefully it stays that way, but than I am now. You know, and I know what the NFL is thinking. You know, if the, you know, Packers and Bucks play each other and it's not Brady versus Rodgers, you know that, you know, I know where the mindset is, you know, and for the fans and for all that kind of stuff. And so, I get it. But to say I know every time it's going to be called, I would say no. You know, there's been times even little accidental things, you get hit in the head, but those things add up, you know, and you know it's not fair. But we're not really looking at the rush. You know, eyes are down here. You know, we're susceptible to get really hurt, you know. And so, you know, I talked to Chris after the game, and I thought he made a heck of a play, you know, and I didn't know it was roughing the passer. I knew he fell on me, but I didn't think it was egregious or anything like that. But the rule is, you know, that's from the ref's point of view. He saw the weight go on me, and my ribs felt it for sure, you know, so.
I want to ask you about another play from that game. I know it's been a while now, but that second touchdown pass to Davante, I mean, looking back, that looked even crazier maybe than it did in the moment. Was that a fun one to look back on film, and was that maybe like the best example yet of the connection you guys talked about and trusting each other?
Yeah, I mean, that was a big trust play. You know, it's something that, you know, I was talking to Josh about on the sideline about an opportunity at that, and you know, Josh, you know, was talking about it, and we liked the idea, and you know, it's a risky thing for him to even call it versus a double. You know, Tay's double covered. Like, usually that's not ideal. You know, we're not going to make a living doing that. You know, but in that point in the game and in that situation, we needed it. And what it really reminded me of is that throw I threw to Ty in Hawaii. You know, how I stepped up and threw it to him over Harrison and Richard Sherman. You know, and it ended up not counting, so Sherm, you know, knocked it out. But you know, but it just reminded me of that play when I stepped up, kind of the same way. I saw it and let it go, and I mean, what a great catch Tay made. But you know, you can't make a living every single time doing that, but to know that that's in our pocket if we need it is nice.
Derek, how much is a blessing having a bye week, get away, spend time with the kids and family, come back refreshed?
Oh, it's so nice, you know. And two of my poor little babies, they weren't feeling too good on a couple of the days, so they just want to sit on the couch and watch TV, which was fine with me. And so we were able to relax and have some really fun family time. We were able to go to Fresno. I hadn't been back to that stadium in a while, and to see Davante's jersey retired. And, you know, that memory that we have together now, it was something that we talked about on that same field before either of our names were on that stadium. You know, we would always see Dave's name, and he knows David really well too. And we'd see Dave's name and be like, he can't be the only one up there, you know. And so to have that come full circle was a really cool moment for us, and it was cool to be back there in that stadium and be around, you know, our new president and everybody. So it was a good time. To hang out with the kids, hang out with my wife. We had a good date night, which she needs that, especially with 4 kids. You know, she needs some time, and so we were able to do that. So we had a good time, and then it's like, as I'm doing that, like all across, like my mind is like, all right, Houston, the coverage, front, boom. You know, I'm already playing the game, and so it's hard to get away from it middle of the season, but to have a little few breaks here and there was nice.
During the last couple of bye weeks, you guys have had winning records, 4-1, 5-2. This one, not so much.
Yep.
Is there a sense of urgency, desperation, anything when you guys hit the reset button coming off the bye week this year?
If I were to say anything, the feeling I had today was excitement. Not only myself, but I would say our team at practice. There was a lot of energy, a lot of joy, excitement. A lot of enthusiasm, real enthusiasm. Because we know what we're capable of. We didn't win as many games as we thought we would at this point. That's for sure. But it's all within so many points, and so we know that we're close. And again, we've always said this: close doesn't count. It doesn't matter. But like my Dodgers, man. Hopefully, we get hot at the right time. They kind of went the other way, and that hurts my heart because I love them so much. So hopefully we can go the other way.
When you see how close it really is, and there's some areas, the red zone, both offensively and defensively, you feel like when you watch it on film, I'm sure you did some reflecting that way during the break, that these are correctable issues.
Oh yeah, we had a big correction time during the bye week to self-scout, to look at ourselves, and really just be honest about it. And some of those things came up today in practice, and we did some of those things well. And so you would hope that you can be a better football team as you keep correcting those things that come up, right? We're never going to be perfect, but we can make corrections and we can get better. And we believe that, and we believe that, that I'll say we're confident in what we're capable of, but it's not like, anyone's coming to town and handing us wins. You have to go earn everything in this league. Team coming to town this week, everyone's saying, they got one win, all that. I turn the film on. They're one of the fastest defenses I've ever seen. They're punching balls out. They're picking passes off. The running back and the quarterback are really good players, good young players in this league. They got wideouts, the offensive line. Like, you go all the way across, you watch this team on the kicking game, and you're like, it's everything I've ever believed about the NFL. The records never matter. You have to go play, and you got to earn your victories in this league.
What have you made of Josh Jacobs' recent production and how he's been utilized so far?
He's running extremely violent, and and not just the physicality, but his cuts are violent. His mentality is violent. You see when he gets in the open field, we all know he can make people miss and stuff like that. But you've seen a couple of times in the last couple of weeks him eye the safety out and say, here I come. And he's going to do it play after play after play, and more power to him. I'm glad he's doing that, not me. I don't know how he does it. It's really impressive, what he's been able to do, but he'd be the first one to tell you how good of a job those guys up front are doing, and the wide receivers are blocking. Whenever you see big runs in the NFL, a lot of it has to do with the receivers getting their block too. And so, he's doing a great job. Everyone's doing a great job. But I would say, if I could describe it, it's just his violent mentality, and that's something that when you have that as a running back, something I saw in Marshawn, he's a very violent runner, and Josh has that same mentality. And when he does it like that and he runs like that, it's up there with some of the best, man. It's really fun to watch.
The last couple of games, you guys have averaged around 30 points per game. What do you think it started clicking for you all as an offense, and how can you carry that forward?
We're just doing those little things that we talk about that, like Josh would correct. We're just doing those better, and even like we're sitting there and we score however many points, whatever, and like to us it doesn't matter. Like we're like, dang, bro, we could have done this. We were 2 for 4 in this, or we had this many 3rd and longs. We needed 3rd and short. Keep more drives going, get to the red zone more. I know we scored on longer plays against KC, but like in our man, we were only one time in the red zone. We should be in there more. And so we're just always. I think if you always challenge yourself and push yourself that way as a team, it keeps your mindset on the things that are important. You can never, be like, oh yeah, wait, we scored 30. Like, you can't have that mindset because then you'll overlook things. And so Josh won't let that happen, and I know our leaders won't either.
Derek, given the family history with Houston,
yeah,
what kind of reaction do you get when you see that Texas logo?
Man, you know what? I have so many memories. I was like one of their first fans ever, and so many memories in what was Reliant Stadium. It was at NRG now, or did they change? Who knows? Okay, all right. Reliant Stadium. I have so many memories there. I played on the field, in the little mascot game, as a kid. So many memories watching my brother play there, and friends people who became Andre Johnson, and all these guys, and watching them play. And like I said, so many memories. But then I think about all the offensive linemen they didn't pick. So then I'm like, I get a little mad. So I do think about it. But I've always loved that organization, and And before he passed, Mr. McNair was so nice to my family. You know, I didn't know him personally, but I would just watch how he treated my brother and, you know, my parents and Melody, my sister-in-law, and how he would take time to talk to me too, and even Cal and everybody. I mean, everyone was just so first class to us, and I'll always be thankful for that. But it's always in there. You know, I always had my Texan jerseys. I was always a fan. You know, when I was getting drafted, I wanted to go there. You know, they didn't pick me first, but 33rd, I was like, maybe 33rd, you know. They didn't want me. So, you know, I was kind of a little heartbroken over that, but it is what it is. I think 9 years down the road, some of those feelings have gone away, you know. But I have the utmost respect for their organization just because of the way they treated my family.
How'd you do in the mascot game?
Oh, man, I think we won. I remember Toro, though. My friend Toro, I won't give his real name away. My friend Toro hit me, though. He got me good. But you know, it was fun. I think we won the game. What was funny though is I was like a year older than all the kids on my team. They just put me on this team to be on it, to make it cool or whatever. And I went and played a scrimmage with them, and these kids were a year younger than me. I was running around like I was Michael Vick. I was out there juking everybody, throwing them. That's my favorite memory from that.
Sounds good. All right.
Good. Thank you. Yep.
There was a situation after the Chiefs game. Is there anything that you wanted to say about that at all?
No, not at this point. I mean, I said what I said, and it was genuine. It was honest before. So, like I said, it's something that I regretted, but we're putting it to bed now. There's nothing else to really talk about at this point.
During the bye week, there's always self-reflection, scouting, you know, taking a look at things. Any hard conclusions that you were able to come up with, looking at the film and looking at what happened over the first 5 weeks, and maybe get fixed moving forward?
Yeah, I actually looked at a lot of the tape, pretty much every game that we've played over the break, and I actually got a really good feeling from watching the tape. And it was obviously you look at the record, and that's nothing that none of us are proud of that part. But when you look at what we put into it and the good, you know, that not that there's any moral victories in this, but you even look at some of the power rankings and the fact that they have us where they have us after being, you know, having one victory at this point shows that, you know, there's something that we're doing out there that people are taking notice of and just not finishing to the best of our ability. So right now it's just checking that, finding all the things that we gotta, you know, correct and do a little bit better to be able to finish off those games the right way. But if you look at the tape and you look at, you know, some of the analytics and the numbers and stuff, you know, I like. I'm not a big, you know, because I think you got to win the game regardless. And you know, you have 200, 300-yard game, whatever. It doesn't matter unless you get that dub. But if you do look at it, if you do want to find good things to, you know, help you move forward and go in the right direction, there's definitely a lot of that on the tape right now. So it's promising.
Is it important? I mean, they say that it's important to be honest with yourself even when it's going bad.
Yeah.
When it's going good and maybe the results aren't there.
Yeah.
Is it important to be honest about that?
Yeah, you want to be honest. At the end of the day, being honest is being honest. If it was the best you could do and, you know, you get outmanned on a certain play, sometimes the guy's going to be stronger than you. You know, if you're an O-lineman and, you know, sometimes you're going to be a little bit more athletic if you're a wideout or whatever. So you got to be real with yourself at the end of the day. And if that was your best effort and the best that you can possibly do, then sometimes you got to live with it, come back and fight another day.
In the Chiefs game,
There were
that
a couple of plays that you looked at when you were watching film where you said, we're going to be all right. Specific plays that you remember?
I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of them, but it was more so as a whole, just looking at it. It wasn't even just me or a route or something, you know, it's protection, different things like that. You know, there's, you know, whether or not the receiver's getting open, whether or not we can protect, you know, if we can sustain our running game. All of these things are obviously questions in, you know, week in and week out. So when I speak on that more so, it's just the whole, you know, the thing as a whole. Obviously, 28's been toting it, doing a great job with that. Receivers been making plays. So it's there's a lot of good things. Like I said, it's just a little bit of an adjustment period, and I think finding out the best way to do things against the looks that we get is you know, our biggest challenge right now, because if they just go line up and play man every play, or if they just stick to what they do on tape, that's generally that's why you scout and do what you do. But then when you look at the tape of how teams are playing other people, they're not doing, you know, what they do against us or how they play me. So it's hard to, you know, break it down going into that week and say this is exactly how we're going to go at these guys based off of the way, you know, that what we've seen on tape, because what they're doing on tape typically is not the same thing as what they do against us a lot of times. So
only time for one more, guys.
Yeah.
maybe one of those plays that gave you some optimism, hope going forward. Probably the biggest highlight offensively we've seen was that second Chiefs touchdown that you caught from Derek. Was that maybe the best representation yet of the trust and connection you guys were talking about? I mean, you lifted up your hand, the pocket was collapsing still for him to throw it up to you. What would you see when you look back on that play?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a good one. Obviously, double coverage, and it's just a great example of just not letting the coverage itself or what their design coverage is meant to do take you out of the play, but more so how they execute it. You know, at the end of the day, if two guys are next to me, I feel like I can beat two guys if I can beat one. You know, it's not like they're thinking opposites. They literally are both right there, and if I can stutter one and then make it a one-on-one, essentially, then that's what we're trying to do. So that's a good one for us to kind of look at on tape and say, you know, this works. So maybe we can use something like that moving forward.
Great. Thanks, guys. You got 30
Yep.
seconds.
All right, cool.